Today we'll be discussing the most popular song in music history. You've definitely heard it. You've even sung it dozens, maybe hundreds of times. It's simple, it's catchy, it's instantly familiar, and yet its origins are mysterious and weirdly elusive. What's up guys, my name is Connor, and today we're uncovering the story behind the world's most popular song, the Happy Birthday song. According to the 1998 Guinness Book of World Records, it's the most recognizable song in the English language, and it's been suggested that it's the most sung tune in human history. We're going to be looking at its origins, its history, and its music theory, and we'll try to figure out how it became so universally recognizable and entrenched in our culture. One other thing about this seemingly innocent song that most people don't know is that it's also been embroiled in an ongoing legal controversy throughout its lifespan, most notably in the last 15 years. And if you stick around to the end of this video, we'll be breaking down and discussing that as well. So this story starts much more recently than you might expect. It begins with two sisters named Mildred and Patty Hill. Both sisters were born in the Louisville, Kentucky area on either side of the Civil War, Mildred in 1859, Patty in 1868. Their father, William Wallace Hill, was a minister and educator who dedicated his life to promulgating the importance of educating and advocating for the common man, and the common woman as it turns out. William Hill was incredibly progressive for his era, and he encouraged his daughters to push their education as far as they could, something that was extremely uncommon at the time. As a result, Mildred became a renowned composer and musicologist, publishing dozens of popular tunes and doing research that was so influential that the legendary Czech composer Antonín Dvořák was inspired by her work for his famed New World Symphony. Patty, however, became an influential figure in the progressive education movement of the late 1800s, and even helped found the Institute of Child Welfare Research at Columbia University's Teachers College. In 1893, while Patty was the principal at the Louisville Experimental Kindergarten School, she and Mildred composed a simple song called Good Morning to All, with Mildred creating the melody and Patty adding the lyrics. The goal here was to create a welcome song for students at Patty's school that would be easy to sing and remember, but interesting and memorable enough to be enjoyable for the students. The song was published in the sisters' 1896 children's songbook, simply titled Song Stories for Children. The Happy Birthday lyrics started becoming popular in the early 1900s, with sources containing the lyrics in print form as early as 1901. And it became the birthday song we all know and love sometime before 1911, when the first version of the Good Morning to All tune with the Happy Birthday lyrics appeared in print in a book called The Elementary Worker and His Work. From that point, the song began to pick up steam and developed into a nationwide and eventually worldwide tradition. We can verify the song's rising popularity by its use in two popular 1937 films, On the Avenue and Stella Dallas. Even though the uses were instrumental, their relation to birthday scenes suggests that by this point the song was already nearly universally associated with birthday celebrations. So what has made this song the possibly most performed song of all time? The answer is, it's hard to say. Obviously, the cultural relevance and ubiquity of birthday celebrations has a lot to do with it, but then the question becomes, why this birthday song? Nobody really knows other than it just had some magical combination of melody, harmony, and lyrics that made it simple enough to sing and catchy enough to carry through time. So let's break down exactly what that melody, harmony, and lyrics actually look like. We'll start with the lyrics. There's not much to say here. You've heard it, you know it. They're just wishing some mysterious, unnamed character a happy birthday. The interesting part about the lyrics is that there's space to sub in the specific name of the birthday celebrant. So what that means is that nearly every version of this song that's been performed inherently has slightly different lyrics. Not super important or unexpected, but it's kind of cool. Musically, the biggest analytical challenge this song presents is its time signature. The song is most likely in 3/4 time, and the original score of Good Morning to All was in 3/4 time, but it could also be considered to be in 9/8 time. Most of the scores you find of the song will be in 3/4 time with the happy of Happy Birthday marked out as even eighth notes, or in 3/4 time with the happy written as a dotted eighth followed by a 16th, implying that the hap is 3 times as long as the p. Happy birthday. I actually disagree with both of these analyses. I personally think that there are 3 correct ways to analyze this rhythm, and the 2 examples we've looked at so far are neither of those. The first way we can examine this rhythm is as quarter and eighth note pairings in 9/8 time. The hap of happy would be a quarter note followed by the p of happy as an eighth note, creating a triplet-based, vaguely swung rhythm. Happy birthday. The second way to look at this rhythm is written as even eighth notes, but with a swing rhythm roughly equivalent to triplets. This would look exactly like the original score, but you'd mark down on the score that there is a swing rhythm. The third way we can look at this is in 3/4 time, where the quarter and eighth note pairing is written itself as a triplet, and that would look like this. If that's all a little complicated and nitpicky for you, don't worry, it's not super important and I'm just a giant nerd. However you cut the cake, No pun intended. It's super interesting that a song so simple and universally known could have such different and controversial interpretations of its rhythm. On top of this, the song starts with the tricky rhythm before you even enter the first measure. And this is accidental. This is only the result of happy being a 2-syllable word, whereas good from good morning to all is just a 1-syllable word. They just had to get it to fit the meter. So the tricky part, the happy of happy birthday, occurs for the first time as pickup notes before measure 1. Here's another fun little rhythmic thing. In practice, a fermata is usually added to the end of the third line, usually where you would sing the birthday celebrant's name. So what a fermata does is it just sustains a note for an indefinite period of time, basically as long as the performer feels like it. In this case, this is likely due to the ambiguity of the meter of whoever's name is being sung. You'd want that gap to be extended enough to fit however many syllables are required for the celebrant's full name. Happy birthday, dear Hubert Blaine Wolfischleigel Steinhausen Bergerdorf Sr. That's an actual person, by the way, and his full name is like 700 letters long. The melody is also interesting, although maybe slightly less so. The biggest thing to note in the melody is the octave jump in the third line, and the minor sixth jump up to the last line. Sixth. Can anybody say that word? Sixth. Sixth. You'd think these would be complicated for kids to sing and difficult to make memorable, but somehow they work. As far as the chord progression goes, there are quite a few ways to harmonize this that can be viewed as correct, but let's look at the original score published by the Hill Sisters as the correct one. That would go 1, 5, 7, 5, 7, 1, 1 over 3, 4 to 2, 1 over 5, 5, 7, finishes with a 1. The 2 chord tends to be optional in modern rendition, and the dominant chords are often just played as basic 5 major chords. So you combine all those musical elements, and somehow you end up with the most popular song in English music history. In addition to the aforementioned Guinness World Record, the Songwriters Hall of Fame issued Happy Birthday a Towering Song Award in 1996, and suggested that it is likely the most sung melody in history. It's appeared in hundreds of movies, including The Pacific, a slasher flick ironically titled Happy Birthday to Me, Poop Dreams, and many, many more. It's appeared in TV shows, commercials, and just about every other form of media you can imagine. Happy birthday to you! Not to mention Marilyn Monroe's legendary performance to John F. Kennedy.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
As well as this fun Wayne's World spin-off of said performance.
Happy birthday to you.
Now, here's the thing. Despite the song's universal popularity, it's actually underrepresented in pop culture media. You may have noticed that those couple movies I just listed are all fairly niche. Why? Well, let me introduce you to a man named Robert Brownice. A large part of what we know about the origins of the song, including much of the source material I've used for this video, comes from Brownice, who is currently a professor of intellectual property law at George Washington University. In 2010, he did a deep dive into the song's history while attempting to wade through the legal mire of Happy Birthday, which he published in an article called Copyright and the World's Most Popular Song. In this article, he details how, from 1935, the song was under copyright protection by the Hill Sisters publishing company, the Summy Company, which eventually was bought by Warner Chappell Music in 1988. What that meant is that if you included the song in your media, movies, TV shows, commercials, radio, etc., you risked legal action from the rights owner. Warner Chappell were highly litigious when it came to this song. They would go after anyone who used it in movies, TV shows, radio, even personal birthday celebrations if there were too many guests outside the immediate circle of friends and family. In 2008 alone, they were raking in over $5,000 a day, or about $2 million a year, in royalties and legal compensation. So naturally, people were constantly creating alternate versions to avoid copyright infringement. This all came to a head in 2013 when a documentary filmmaker named Jennifer Nelson, alongside her lawyer Randy Newman, no, not that Randy Newman, realized based on Brownice's article that the copyright might not be legitimate.
I took the facts to my lawyer, Randy Newman.
It was obvious to me that they took a copyright to sheet music and over the years expanded it to owning the song when they never owned the song. They never even claimed to own the song.
So she actually filed a lawsuit against Warner Chappell on behalf of her production company, aptly named Good Morning to You Productions. She sought a refund of the $1,500 she'd paid for the rights to use the song in her documentary about American birthday traditions. And she also pushed for refunds for all filmmakers who had paid for use of the song since 2009. I won't bog you down in all the legal mumbo jumbo, but the end result? In September of 2015, Judge George H. King ruled that the copyright was invalid. Settlements were paid out to the appropriate parties, and most importantly, the song was officially released into the public domain on January 1st, 2017. Which means that now I can legally do this.
Happy birthday to you. Warner Brothers can't sue. Thanks to Brown, Nice, and Nelson, the song is free for public use.
So in a nutshell, that's the happy birthday story. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please leave a like, drop a comment with your thoughts, and let me know what other iconic songs or music mysteries you'd like me to cover next. Don't forget to subscribe as well for more music history, music theory, and songwriting content. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.